Spring Grove Lions getting ready for the sectional semifinal on Saturday afternoon against Grand Meadow. We're chatting with head coach Kody Moore. And Kody, you got the victory the other night against Houston, a 47-16 win. You were down 8-7 early in that game. When you're preparing for a postseason game, when you're talking to your kids about getting mentally ready, is a message necessary that in a do or die situation, your opponent's probably going to go out and make some plays? It's not a case of slowing them down as much as rolling with the punches. Is that part of the message as you get ready for the postseason games?
Yeah, I mean, we'd all love to, just go out and play a perfect game and have nothing go wrong and execute perfectly and all that type of stuff. But that's just not the reality of high school football. And, Houston did a nice job of making some plays, especially on third down there early on. They made some nice passes down the field. And football teams are supposed to make plays. The teams you play against, that's what it is. They're going to throw their best punches, especially in playoff time. So what I was really proud of is the fact that, we were down 8-7 after the quarter. We didn't start as well as we wanted, but we responded to that. And, there's always a lot of good life lessons there as well. But in terms of football, you're going to play competition that you got to be able to respond to adversity, especially the further you go along. So I was real pleased with the way our guys bounced back there in the second quarter and then second half as well.
And late in the first half, Houston hit that hook and ladder, got the ball inside your red zone, but Tyson Grindy ended up with that pick six to give you guys a little bit more breathing room at halftime. Silly media question, how big was that play?
Oh, huge. Obviously, they go in there and score right before half, and that's a completely different ball game. Instead, you completely flip it and score the other way. After them threatening that deep. That was a monster play. And, Tyson had gotten caught, sucked up a few times there early in the game, on that drive as well. And I think after hearing from us a little bit, he was pretty determined to make sure that he made up for those couple errors that he had. And he more than made up for it. So, you could just see there the determination. He wasn't going to be denied through a nice couple stiff arms there and returned it all the way. So it was a great play, and it was a great way to end the half. And then, you're able to start with the ball the second half. So that was a very big play for us.
Seemingly, I ask you about this every time we have a conversation, but what more can be said about your run defense? When you had your varsity guys in the other night, it was less than 1 yard a carry that Houston was garnering, and they're not a bad rushing attack either. Your run defense, what more can you say about it?
Yeah, it's, I'm going to sound like a broken record in a tape recorder, but it's one of those things where they're just locked in right now. Our guys are. And, it all does. I know I keep saying it, but it all starts up front. I just thought Noah Blackburn in the middle, he's just demanded double teams. And I feel like that's kind of been the difference in freeing other guys up. So I can't emphasize enough the job that he's done. And then Ethan Crouch shutting down the edge there. And then obviously our linebackers coming up and making plays. And the other night too, Tyson coming up and run support as well. Sometimes it's a gamble. You come up and help at the safety spot in the run game. But, when you read it correctly and you can get up there and make a play, that's part of the run game success as well. So that was excellent to see. And again, hopefully continue that trend. This time of year, we know teams are going to run the ball, and got to be able to stop the run.
And oftentimes, as you mentioned, with your defensive linemen, it's a case of them taking up the offensive line to allow the linebackers in the secondary to make plays. The other night, you mentioned Noah Blackburn. You mentioned Emmett Engeldinger. Those guys were making plenty of plays on their own the other night.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point, Darren, as well. They were getting to that point where they're getting enough penetration and blowing through their man that they were making plays in the backfield as well. We had quite a few tackles for loss. We had a few sacks as well. So you're right on there in the fact that those guys, they made their own plays as well. And again, that's just great to see. Great team effort on defense. And it's just been fun to watch those guys get better every single week.
How do you go about managing practice and preparation during this short turnaround?
Well, it's it's the same every year. It just is one of those things where you get more mental reps, more film study and that type of stuff. It was nice. And actually, we played Tuesday. We were able to break down film Wednesday. Yesterday, we were able to have a normal practice, which it felt like we hadn't had a normal practice in about a month. But so that was really nice to kind of go through our normal routine. So actually, it's this week now has been more of a typical week, with that extra day not playing until Saturday. So that's been good. It's always football guys are creatures of habit. So it's nice to get back in that more similar routine.
5 weeks ago, you ended up with 47-16 win over Grand Meadow. Since that time, the Meadowlarks are 4-1. How are they better looking at them on film?
They just improve every single week. And that comes down to Josh Bain and their coaching staff does a really nice job. There's those guys, it's every single year. The amount of improvement they show is very impressive. And that's the case right now. They're battling a few injuries. They actually had to make a switch. Their quarterback that started the year, he got hurt. And I see they've kind of moved him to receiver. And then one of the receiver running backs, they've moved to quarterback. And he's running around and making plays. And, I think in general, those guys have just gotten better and getting off the ball. They're tackling better and they're just so fundamentally sound. So we're definitely going to have to play our best game. And it's an exciting opportunity. They'll have that college football feel Saturday afternoon, 2:00. And just real excited for the opportunity with Grand Meadow coming to town.
When you face a team 5 weeks ago, how much can you take from that game in preparation for this one? Or is it kind of like a whole new matchup coming into Saturday?
Well, there's some differences, obviously, but scheme-wise, you can still look at in terms of how did they line up defensively against certain sets. So you can kind of guess a little bit what you might see. Obviously, it's one of those things you always have to adjust on the fly as well. So I think you can take some from it, but also the biggest thing is just understanding that how much they've improved and just making sure our guys know that we need to be locked in from the start. Expect a 4-quarter battle, be fast and physical like we have been, and hopefully come out on top.
All right, Coach, here's hoping we can have another conversation next week. Keep your guys healthy. We wish you best of luck.
Thanks a lot, Darren. As always, really appreciate the coverage.
Kody Moore, head coach of the Spring Grove Lions. It's the Lions in Grand Meadow Saturday afternoon at Blaine Onsgard Field in Spring Grove.